And it's really funny because I kind of feel like I have a very personal connection to Seton Hall University. I've actually visited the university, and one of my best friends from college, and still one of my best friends today, is a professor there. So yeah.
Oh, small world.
I know. So I'm really excited that we get to welcome you here and create this little video and recording, for our students who are exploring colleges. Our juniors right now, are looking into them more and more. And we've actually had some students who have applied to and gotten into Seton Hall who are current seniors. So they'll get a chance to really get to know it. And William, don't you have a student who also ended up going to Seton Hall?
Yeah. Yeah, he's in this year's freshman class.
Okay.
And yeah, he went in for the political science and law program. Is it I think it's a 3+2.
Yeah, the 3+3. Yep.
3+3,
And I probably
yeah.
know your student because I worked with all of them. So
Oh, great.
yeah. Congratulations, and I'm so glad that he decided to join us.
Yeah, he was really excited. So he I think it was especially after he made a campus visit. He visited a few schools in the area, and Seton Hall was one of the ones he liked the most. So I think it really made a big difference when it came time, to make his decision.
Yeah, absolutely. It usually does. So, yeah. All right, you guys. Well, anything else we want to kind of share as a group before I jump right in?
I'd love to hear about your background, where you're from. I know you work with kids from Southern California, right?
Yeah.
So just a little intro on you. And then after that, we'd love for you to just present a little bit on the university. And then I'm sure we'll have a bunch of follow-up questions.
Okay.
So yeah, take it away.
Absolutely, Josephine, be happy to. So as I mentioned earlier, my name is Gina Wright, and I am the Assistant Director of Admissions for students in the Southwest United States. So I work with everyone below Santa Maria, all the way down to the border of Mexico. I also work with students out of state in Nevada, Arizona, Utah, New Mexico. So I have a pretty broad territory. I do spend a lot of my time in Southern California, however, and actually, fun fact, students in Southern California make up, or California in general, make up our fourth largest population on campus. So we always have a lot of California representation in a given year, which is really nice for our students to see a fellow Californian on campus when they get there. And we also do a lot of meet and greet events before we send our students back east so that they have a chance to get to know each other. And we've even had students that meet at those events and end up wanting to room together. So we try to do what we can to get you connected ahead of time so you have that friendly face when you get to campus. I've been working with Seton Hall now for 3 cycles. This is my 3rd class that I'm working with, and I absolutely love working with students in this way. Obviously, with the situation being as it is, we've kind of shifted to this virtual world, but in a typical year, I am traveling throughout Southern California and meeting with families one-on-one, meeting students at their high schools, as I'm sure you've kind of seen in the past, and just doing what I can to be a support for our students from start to finish. And one thing that I kind of wish is that I could connect with students as early as their freshman year, just so that I could start to kind of offer them some advice on what they can be doing to prepare themselves for a really solid application. And so definitely, I don't know kind of the range of ages that are here today, but if you're here early, good for you. It's really good to kind of sit in on these sessions as early as you can so that you can understand kind of what's ahead, and you've got wonderful support in the counselors that are here and in the organization that you're a part of. So
yeah, I think that's a really good point, because I think that as a freshman, you don't need to know what you want to do or where you want to go, right? But you do want to know how you can keep your options open so that once you get older and are a little more in tune with your curiosities, your interests, your passions, maybe a certain geographic region suddenly speaks to you, that then you don't regret anything you did or didn't do in your first 2 years of high school. So I think it would be great to hear a little bit about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are thousands of institutions across the country and around the world. And so I am also a part of an organization called RAC, which is the Regional Admission Counselors of California. And so if you guys ever have time, I would recommend going to regionaladmissions.com and signing up for one of the events that they are running. I believe we have at least two events that are open to all students in California that you could jump onto. And basically it would expose you to 25 to 30 colleges at a time, and you just get kind of a 2-minute snippet from each of the institutions that's there. And it's nice because, you know, as we're talking about it, it will expose you to a variety of different options, and it's important for you to hear what's out there so you can figure out, you know, how to best find your fit. So definitely a little plug there and recommendation for you guys as you're exploring. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get started if that works for you. So here, I'm going to go ahead and just share my screen. So just give me one moment here. I've got to, there we go. All right. So let's talk about Seton Hall. So Seton Hall University was actually founded in 1856 by Reverend James Roosevelt Bailey, who was the first Bishop of Newark. It is one of the oldest diocesan universities in the country, and we like to say that we're home to the mind, heart, and spirit. We are a diverse and welcoming community. We actually have a 45% diversity rate, and our geographic diversity is such that we bring in students from 70 countries and all 50 states. So like I mentioned earlier, California is typically our third largest population on campus, and we do bring in students from all of the other states as well. So it's definitely a wonderful place to be in that regard. It's important to us that we are teaching our students respect, understanding, compassion, integrity, and servant leadership, as those are pillars of the Catholic faith, and therefore pillars of our institution. Seton Hall does offer the advantages of a large research institution coupled with the benefits of a small, supportive, and nurturing environment. What I like to share with our students is that Seton Hall has the feeling of a D1 school. We are D1 for athletics, and so you get that excitement and school spirit that you would find at kind of a large institution, but paired with small class sizes and a lot of mentorship opportunities. So, and you know, you're getting paired with 3 advisors your freshman year. So we really try to make sure that you're acclimating well and that you have a lot of support as you continue on at the institution. The faculty is extremely warm and welcoming, and they do offer ample office hours for you guys. And so, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we move forward, but just know that you're getting kind of the benefits of that, you know, small school environment, but with that big school spirit as well. As I mentioned earlier, small class sizes, so average class size is 21. The average English class is actually 15 for freshmen. The student faculty ratio is 14:1. And as I mentioned a moment ago, we do offer faculty mentorship. So typically in your second semester of freshman year, you'll be paired with your faculty advisor, and they'll be able to walk with you through kind of the rest of your time at Seton Hall and be a resource for you academically, in addition to your academic advisor. We wait until that second semester because it gives you a kind of a semester to just figure out what it is that you're most passionate about. It's not a ton of time, but it kind of, you know, sometimes students do figure out within that first semester, okay, you know, I've dabbled in maybe this class related to a major I'm interested in, and I've also taken this other class, and I think I'll start here, focusing on this major, and then, you know, we'll pair you with a faculty member within that department. We have minimal graduate assistance on campus, which is really nice. So that means that you guys are learning from the best. You're learning from that professor that, you know, went to school and got their degree in this area. A lot of our faculty, especially if they're adjunct, are either currently working in their field and, you know, co-teaching, or they have worked in the field in the past and now they've come to join us as a faculty member. So definitely a wealth of knowledge. We have a population of 6,200 undergraduate students. So like I said, that's kind of right over the border into that medium category, but we do feel pretty small on campus. About 4,000 graduate students, and these graduate students aren't just located on Seton Hall's main campus. We also have 2 satellite campuses, which I'll talk about in a little bit, but Seton Hall Law is about 20 minutes away. And then we also have the Interprofessional Health Sciences campus, which was built just a few years ago, and that's also about 25 minutes away, so not too far from campus. We have about a 50-50 split between men and women, just slightly more females on campus. And as I mentioned, all 50 states represented, 70 countries, and a 45% diversity rate. A little more about our faculty here. So just to kind of get to know you of who you would be learning from. They are accomplished scholars, authors, artists, and researchers, and they are well known in their field. A lot of them being published and still going out into the field and speaking, at various conferences and the like. We have former ambassadors, Fulbright scholars, lawmakers, and business leaders. As you guys know, or maybe you don't know, we are located about 14 miles west of New York City. And so a lot of these faculty members, particularly, for example, in the School of Business, have worked on Wall Street, or they've done vast research on the workings of the world of finance and investment. And that's just one example of the well-established faculty that are within our community. We're also very close to the UN. So the United Nations actually helped us launch our School of Diplomacy and International Relations, and we regularly have former ambassadors that come to our campus and speak to our students, and we actually have them on our staff as well. So really exciting there. And we do have, they're graduates of some really well-known institutions like you see on this slide, and they continue to research side by side with their students. So they're always wanting to grow themselves, and they are committed to lifelong learning. All right, so outstanding academics. So Seton Hall offers over 90 programs that are highly ranked by the Princeton Review, U.S. News and World Report, Forbes Magazine, Money Magazine, and Bloomberg Business Week. And you can go online and find those rankings and more. Our graduates have gone on to be Rhodes Scholars, Fulbright Scholars, and Marshall Scholars. Actually, we just had a graduate last year that received a Fulbright Scholarship, and they're now overseas, working as, underneath one of the ambassadors there. And it's just a really exciting opportunity for them as they're continuing their education and applying their degree. We also have, like I mentioned, prominent researchers. That doesn't just apply to our faculty, but our students have gone on and established themselves in their field of research. Award-winning authors and journalists, diplomats and peacemakers, and sportscasters and newscasters. Fun fact, I don't know if you guys know who Bob Lee is, but he basically helped to start ESPN. He loves, helping out his alma mater. He comes back and speaks to our students very regularly. He hosts workshops. He even had, this fall, he did a workshop on sports media, and he regularly comes back, like I said, to continue helping the next generation of pirates from year to year. So we're very happy and proud that he is a Seton Hall pirate. All right, so here's a couple more of our stats that I mentioned. We actually have the #1 business leadership program in the country. We've held that ranking 5 years in a row. The Buccino Leadership Institute actually was launched about 3 years ago as a result of our business leadership program being so successful. So now all of our students in every college have the opportunity to be a part of the Buccino Leadership Program, which essentially involves mentorship for all 4 years at the university on top of what our students are regularly getting, just being a part of the university in general. They also are growing in a variety of different areas on how to be a leader. They'll start year 1 learning how to lead themselves. Year 2, they'll begin to learn how to lead others. And year 3, they'll begin to learn how to lead in, the working world and in a corporate environment, or, whatever it is that applies to their major. They'll also take a variety of different assessments to find their strengths and weaknesses, to figure out their personality type, and to grow those natural born leadership skills, while also bettering themselves in the areas that they might find are more weaknesses for them. So definitely they're finding a balance and They also have an opportunity to hear from 14 top professionals from a variety of different industries in a seminar style course that's once a week. The program is completely free. You just have to get into it. It's definitely very competitive, but you are automatically considered upon application. The applications do go to their department, and then they'll kind of do a review on who they want to invite for, you know, the initial interview. So very exciting opportunity at Seton Hall. We, you know, a couple other rankings here on this slide. I won't, you know, go into too much, but we are top 5 in the nation for return on investment. I would attribute this to our wonderful internship program. So if you think about it kind of logically, we are ranked number 4 in the nation for internships. And a lot of our students do have 3 to 5 by the time they graduate. Now we're located right next to New York City, right? So if you're going into business, if you're going into communications, the area of the New Jersey we're in is actually really big in pharmaceuticals. We have a wonderful biology program and just a lot of health science options at the school. And we're really encouraging students, no matter, you know, what it is that they're studying, to get out in the working world as early as their freshman year, and start building their resume, either in a paid or an unpaid internship situation. And they're also able to access ample research opportunities as early as their freshman year so that they can begin to build their skills in that way. So by the time they graduate, they walk into the room and they are the most experienced candidate that's there. And so, you know, our students' mid-career earnings are about 50% higher than the national average. And Seton Hall is in the top 25 for highest paid grads. And so that return on investment statistic, when you know, all things considered, really does make a lot of sense. All right. So let's start talking about our colleges. So we actually have 9 colleges at the university. The College of Arts and Sciences is kind of the home to the Seton Hall liberal arts education. So if you look on the left side of this slide, you'll find all of those foundational majors. What I love about Seton Hall is we really make it very easy for our students to double major and even triple major, as well as pick up minors. And so, for example, if a student is studying diplomacy, that student will naturally need to pick up a language to kind of double major in, and that language will be housed within the College of Arts and Sciences. The College of Arts and Sciences is also home to all of our students during the undergraduate portion of their dual degree in any of our health science options, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And so, you know, we offer, you know, opportunities to kind of grow their skills in the area of research and kind of building that foundation so that they can go on either into the medical field or continuing on in whatever it is that they may be doing on the graduate side, and a lot of other wonderful opportunities within this college as well. We actually have a partnership with the Stevens Institute of Technology, and so students that start this 3+2 program rather with us will continue on to Stevens automatically after their first 3 years at Seton Hall. So what that looks like is students will study physics with us, and they'll be in our College of Arts and Sciences during those first 3 years. They will attend conferences. About 25%, I believe, students end up getting funded by Seton Hall to attend these conferences. They've been asked to speak at these conferences, and again, engaging in regular research starting their freshman year, so that they're well prepared to make that transition over to Stevens and kind of finish up with a master's degree in 2 years. So you're getting 2 degrees in 5 years instead of 1 degree in 4, which is really exciting. And right now, the options are electrical and mechanical engineering, as well as artificial intelligence. We just launched the program, so after this year, we're also going to be able to offer our students chemical engineering, biomedical, software, computer, and all of the other really popular options. All right, we also have a School of Theology. So if you're interested in kind of going into the priesthood, or if you're just interested in kind of growing in kind of the philosophy of the Catholic faith, or growing in your kind of spiritual understanding or understanding of the scriptures, you're welcome to, you know, either major in Catholic theology or take classes in that college. School of Diplomacy and International Relations, I already kind of mentioned a little bit in the beginning, but again, it was launched in an exclusive alliance with the United Nations Association of the United States of America. Very exciting. 100% of our students will do internships or study abroad during their time within the college. That's obviously very important to kind of help grow your skills and prepare you for the working world in this field. A couple of places our students have entered right there listed on the slide, including the UN, the FBI, US embassies, admissions abroad. And As I mentioned earlier, our faculty includes former ambassadors, and there is a 100% admit rate to grad school. So these students have very impressive resumes leaving our doors and definitely having no problems finding admission to grad school. The employment rate is also 95%. So students that are leaving our doors and decide to work right away have a very, very high chance of getting hired within 6 months of graduation. Last thing I would mention is that this college runs a study abroad in DC for a semester. And so basically you will be in a very competitive internship for 4 days out of the week. And then 1 day out of the week, you'll actually be at the United Nations Foundation learning from, very well-established previous ambassador who's teaching your class. And it does count for a full semester's worth of courses. So that's something our students do love to take advantage of. It's open to anyone, but particularly diplomacy and poli-sci students tend to take advantage of that study abroad opportunity. Dual law, so we talked about this a little while ago before we got started, but this is a really wonderful opportunity for our students to have almost a guaranteed seat in law school. I say almost because they will still need to pass their LSAT and score within the 77th percentile to have that guaranteed seat. It doesn't mean that they can't still apply and kind of be considered with the rest of the application class, but in order for them to just kind of smoothly transition without a lot of other steps, they would need to score within that 77th percentile. However, it is a really nice cushion for students to know that that is kind of an option for them potentially. And we do offer 5 different tracks within the school. So business, so you'd study business at Seton Hall for 3 years and then head over there, diplomacy and international relations, political science, religion, and social work. And so those last 3 options are somewhat new as of last year and this year. But we do try to make it broad because we understand that students' interests vary within the world of law. All right, business, one of our bread and butter colleges, I would say, at Seton Hall. I've already mentioned to you our location and kind of where we get our students plugged in fairly regularly. The U.S. News and World Report has counted Stillman as one of the best undergraduate business programs, and Bloomberg Business Week has ranked us number 8 for return on investment. So definitely a really nice place to be studying business. I already mentioned earlier that the leadership program ranked number 1 in the U.S. 5 years in a row, and that now we're offering that opportunity to everyone in all colleges, but definitely it found kind of its niche in the College of Business. Students are getting hands-on training in our mock trading room, which is actually very exciting because our students are able to invest a portion of the university's endowment in the stock market, which they absolutely love to do. And it gives them a nice hands-on training for that opportunity and kind of what they'll be doing in their jobs. We also have a market research center, and companies from New York City and the surrounding area actually hire our students to run real research projects for them. Stillman students that are in the leadership program actually get extra market research opportunities as well. So that's another kind of piece of being within the business leadership cohort of that program. But it is open to all students to kind of get involved over there. And we have a sports polling center, which is run by a 7 or 8 time Emmy Award winning CBS Sports newscaster and producer. So definitely a really nice place to kind of be getting your hands on kind of calling and getting used to gaining information about statistics. And a lot of our student statistics end up running on the ticker below ESPN sporting events, which is a kind of a fun fact. Stillman graduates also have a 95% employment rate within 6 months of graduation. And our starting salary for the average student is about $52,000 a year. And there is also a 100% admit rate to grad school for Stillman students, which is nice. The College of Education and Human Services, I haven't really talked about yet, but there is a 100% employment rate for graduates of the College of Education. This is because this program requires more hours of teaching practicum than any other school in the state of New Jersey. So students will start sitting in classrooms their freshman year, and they'll start student teaching their sophomore year, and they'll continue on until they graduate. There will be 4 long-term placements, so 75 hours every semester starting their sophomore year, plus a full year of student teaching their senior year. They'll specialize in elementary, secondary, or special education, and we also offer a joint master's option in speech language pathology and applied behavior analysis. So lots of options there. College of Communication and the Arts is another really wonderful option at Seton Hall. Again, really wonderful internship placements in New York. We've probably placed students at every single television station in the city, which is really exciting, as well as a lot of radio stations. And, that's obviously would be a student that's interested in broadcast journalism. We also have students that come and join us for traditional journalism and are working with some of the major papers in New York during their time with us as interns. And we also have really wonderful programs in the fine arts, graphic interaction and advertising design, music, public relations, and theater, which we all know is a very popular option, especially in the tri-state area. Fun fact, WSOU, our college radio station, actually won the Marconi Award this year, and it has won it in the past as well. And they were recently inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And the Setonian actually ranked one of the top college newspapers in the country. And Brownson's Speech and Debate Team, which finds its home in the College of Communication and the Arts, won over 9,000 awards to this day. So definitely well established. I don't see it here on this slide, probably because this statistic belongs more with the School of Diplomacy, but our Model UN team, Shuna, actually ranked 12th in the nation this past year. So if you're interested in debate, if you're interested in Model UN or mock trial, definitely a lot of really great options at Seton Hall. All right, so College of Nursing, we're almost there, guys. It's a lot of info, but the College of Nursing is actually the oldest college in the state of New Jersey. We have students that are plugged in at almost every hospital in the state of New Jersey. It was really cool during COVID. I remember seeing kind of flashes come up on our webpage of students kind of holding up signs at their placements, at their clinicals during COVID, once they were allowed back in that kind of the hospitals. And students that were recent graduates and alums kind of, showing their Seton Hall pride as they were out on the field, in the field, and kind of supporting the cause. So that was really, really special, just to see our graduates and our alum kind of plugging in and so early on, kind of helping us get back on our feet as a nation. We are affiliated with over 250 hospitals and healthcare organizations, and students will participate in 8 clinical rotations during their time with us. So that would be kind of the nursing version of an internship. So lots of hands-on experience for our nurses. And our nursing students actually head over to the Interprofessional Health Sciences campus, that brand new building I was telling you guys about earlier, in the middle of their sophomore year. So the reason why we've moved our College of Nursing into that building is because it's really important that our students have that experience working hand in hand with the School of Health and Medical Science students and the Hackensack Meridian Hospital School of Medicine students, and they will consistently throughout their last 2.5 years at Seton Hall. So what that means is they will be, side by side, maybe actors will come in and they will be the nurse working with that patient, and then the doctor will come in, and so on and so forth. We also have a lot of high-tech simulation labs and dummies that you can draw blood from. They have other, they're symptomatic in other ways. I won't go into it, but you can imagine we try to get them working, on those dummies before they are actually out doing their rotations and working with patients. And also that hand-in-hand connection with the other majors is really valuable for our students as well.
And it's a direct entry program, right?
And it is a direct entry program.
Is it much harder is the admit rate into the College of Nursing lower than the admit rate into Seton Hall University overall, as far as selectivity goes when students are applying?
So that's a good question. I can't really give out that information, but I can tell you that, I can't really speak to that, in terms of kind of, I can tell you that the admit rate for the College of Nursing is slightly high, but definitely something that's achievable if you've been doing well, kind of on the high school side. I hope that helps.
Yeah, so it's a little more selective.
Just slightly. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So the School of Health and Medical Sciences, also located over at our IHS campus, and it's just a really wonderful opportunity for all the same reasons that I started speaking to you about just a moment ago for the College of Nursing students. But our students are getting hands-on opportunities, again, to work with actors, to work in simulation labs that look, just like the offices that they'll be practicing in when they go out on their internships, and then of course when they graduate. So they're getting experience kind of within those lab settings, and then also, again, side by side with actors so that they can have that interpersonal practice as well. We offer 5 options, so athletic training, occupational therapy, physical therapy, physician assistant, and speech language pathology. And US News and World Report ranked our PA program top 25 in the country. So if you're interested in being a physician assistant, definitely a really nice option for you. And PA and speech language programs have a 100% employment rate upon graduation, and PT has a 98% employment rate. What's really nice to know about all of these programs is that you have a seat on the other side waiting for you. So it's direct entry into that grad program. So definitely a really nice option for our students that think that this might be something that they want to do. Some of these programs you cannot transfer into after you're a student at Seton Hall. And for others, if you have the right GPA, you can apply to transfer in. So the programs that you have to get into your freshman year include physical therapy, physician's assistant, and I believe occupational therapy, but I'd have to kind of circle back with you on that. Speech language will take transfer students. You can kind of apply, I believe, in the middle of your freshman year for the following year, if that is something you want to do, and athletic training will as well. Join MD. I think this might be our last slide here, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of kind of what students are studying at Seton Hall. But the Join MD program actually launched hand in hand. Hackensack Meridian School of Medicine wanted to kind of get itself off the ground. And so we partnered with them to help them to start their own medical school, which is very exciting for both of us. Students will study 4 years of anything they want at Seton Hall. So that's actually very unique. Most Join MD programs are BSMD, meaning students need to study biology. We give our students the flexibility to do anything they want for their undergraduate education. Of course, if they choose something completely unrelated, it may extend their time and it might take longer than 4 years to graduate, but certainly, our students do choose a variety of different majors, and then they will get the proper advising to make sure that they have all of their prereqs done prior to graduation. After that 4 years, they will head over to the Interprofessional Health Sciences campus, where they'll be working side by side with nursing students and School of Health and Medical Science students as well. The great thing about this program is there is a guaranteed interview for med school. If that interview goes well, the MCAT goes well, they'll keep going, and there is a guaranteed residency for them available within the Hackensack Meridian network upon graduation. So lots of perks and benefits to this program for you guys that are interested in medicine. One thing I should mention, actually, before kind of moving on from this slide, they are pretty open and forward about the academic requirements for this program. So at the bottom of that slide, if you are interested in medicine, I'd encourage you to maybe do a quick snapshot of that. You do need a 3.6 unweighted GPA and no less than a 650 on the ERW and math sections of the SAT, or a 30 cum on the ACT. There's no section requirement for the ACT. That's a common question. But yeah, they were unable to waive those test score requirements this year, unfortunately, and there's zero flexibility in any circumstance for this school. It's because they are guaranteeing a lot for their students early on, and they just need to make sure that they can handle the rigor of the program, as students will be taking a full load of courses all 4 years, and I believe even a summer's worth of courses as well. Did you have a question?
Yeah. I did. I actually have a student in mind who might be really interested in this program. And I was going to ask you a question at the end, but I might as well ask it now. Because I was going to ask what's a good track for a student most interested in medicine. And this actually sounds like something that might be something for her. But I guess my question is, what if during the first 4 years, the student who's in this joint MD program realizes, actually, I don't want to do the MD. I have found a different passion during my first 4 years. What does that look like then?
Yeah, that's a great question. So obviously they will have already taken a lot of courses kind of within the world of the sciences, specifically biology. But it kind of just depends on kind of where they figure that out. They can certainly drop out of the program. So that's, I guess, the easy answer, and switch their major to something else. that they, want to choose to do. And of course, something that students do go through regularly when they're in college is changing their major and kind of discovering what it is that they are passionate about. And so our advisors are ready to support them in that transition and make sure that they are on track to graduate on time. So
if she did want to do this program, she would have to apply for this program when she applies to Seton Hall. There's nothing she could do once she's there, right?
No, yep, yeah. This is one of those programs where you've got to be admitted. And so other programs in this kind of category of you have to be directly admitted to take part in the program are, of course, Join MD, also dual law through the School of Business and Diplomacy. I believe currently there is a transfer track for political science, religion, and social work as they're kind of newer programs, but there's no flexibility for diplomacy or business. They have to be admitted right away. And then, as I mentioned, those two health science tracks, physical therapy and the PA program, definitely they need to be admitted their freshman year. So when I speak to a student and they tell me that they're not sure if they want to go into nursing or if they want to go into medicine, or they're not sure if they want to go into physical therapy or nursing, I always tell them to apply for the program that does not allow transfers. Try it out, kind of talk to their advisor, maybe do an internship or two. And then if they want to transfer into the nursing program, they have that flexibility. So.
Yeah, and that's actually, I love what you just said, try it out, maybe, shadow someone, something like that. I know that for a lot of high schoolers, it's kind of hard to find something in the medical to get a little bit of exposure or experience, because oftentimes they say you have to be 18. That's what a lot of our students have found. But our students have been able to, through a personal connection, been able to shadow a doctor, things like that. Now that's all been really different, obviously, this past year. So I guess, with that's why I'm asking these questions, because some students, they would have had, already like 2 summers to be able to expose themselves to maybe a high school program at a hospital or things like that. And last summer it didn't happen. And right now they're looking at applying, and a lot of the programs are saying they're going to be online as well. So these students, are really like, well, I really like medicine and I love bio and I love chem, but there's so many options that I'm having a hard time already now choosing, because I haven't even been able to immerse myself in anything. Do you guys offer any options for high schoolers to maybe a summer program or anything like that? I know this is a little off topic, but I'm just interested if you offer anything like that for them to get like a little glimpse into things.
Yeah, so we do have kind of course options over the summer. I don't believe we have any sort of kind of internship opportunities, but usually there is a kind of summer course option, a couple of them available for students that are in high school. And so after this presentation, I can certainly find you the link to that page on our website and send it over.
Yeah, that would be lovely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you guys. We already talked about Interprofessional Health Science Campus, but again, it's 10 miles from Seton Hall's main campus, so very, very close. The students are responsible for their own transportation, so that's a very common question. This shouldn't be a problem because there are a ton of students that need cars to go to their clinicals. And so, once you're at the campus, they do, if you don't have a car, they do try to pair you up with someone that does have a car for your clinical placements. The advisors will try to work with you in that way, and the faculty as well. And I already mentioned the colleges that are over there. But, I guess the bottom line for IHS and kind of its foundation and why we put all the colleges together is so that we would create this community-focused, clinically based integrated curriculum. And so students, again, working side by side the way they would in their field. So very important. If you guys are interested in kind of touring or virtually touring campus, the IHS tours are 1 o'clock on Fridays. That's Eastern time. So just make sure you do your math before you register and, pick a time. I believe they are still available virtually right now. So, and we are offering in-person tours too of campus and of IHS campus. So if that's something that's comfortable and possible for you, just know that that is an opportunity that you can take advantage of.
That's awesome. Not that many do that right now, so that's pretty cool. I had a question, but then I got so busy taking notes that now I'm wondering what my question was. Oh, I just wanted, it was just more of a comment. I think this is something that struck me too last time when I visited Seton Hall University, which was about 2 years ago. That idea that what you're trying to do at the Interprofessional Health Sciences campus is you're trying to recreate the workday in the medical field, right? Because you have your med students who are going to be doctors working alongside your nursing students who will be nursing, working alongside your physician assistant students, right? And you're already trying to create that sense of community and how does it all work and as a team of medical professionals. And I just wanted to comment on that I think that's a really unique opportunity to not just learn your field, but really learn that collaborative aspect that is so crucial in successful healthcare.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for kind of elaborating. And that is true. And again, that's the reason why they set the college up, the College of Nursing specifically up over there, rather than keeping those students on main campus so that they could have that practice with the graduate students, and a lot of which are continuing on from their 3 years at Seton Hall. So they get to continue on working hand in hand in all three areas, whether it be medicine, health and medical sciences, or nursing. Speaking of which, hands-on learning is the next slide. So no matter what you're studying at Seton Hall, we do encourage research with faculty. So, typically when students think of research, they think of the hard sciences, but our students are researching in the history department and the English department and, political science and so many other areas of study. And in order to get on a research project, they would just approach their faculty, the professor that's teaching their class, and just let them know that they would like to begin research. And again, being a small community, we will help you to find a placement that works well for you. There's also, support within the Career Center. So I think I may have mentioned this already, but if I haven't, I apologize. I'll tell you now. Being a part of our internship program is that students have access to this wonderful career center where they will be paired with a mentor that is the specific mentor for their college, and they will hand them kind of a list of placements where our students have interned in the past. They will help them kind of write their resumes, prepare for their interviews. If they have a lunch meeting, they'll help them practice for that. If you have a resume, they'll help you polish that up. And we have over 17,000 connections. On top of that, these mentors also will help them kind of hone in on what kind of research they might be wanting to do on campus. And they can get advice on kind of who to connect with if it's not someone they're currently studying with, in order to get on a project related to their specialty field of interest. So another wonderful resource of the Career Center. Additionally, I already mentioned this with engineering, but our students have presented at national conferences in a variety of different departments on campus. So that's really exciting opportunity for them to get their name out there and to practice, potentially for what they may be doing, continuing on in the future in their professional career. Our students actively study abroad in a typical year, and we do have three kind of categories of study abroad. So we have semester-long study abroad programs, which might be, what you think of traditionally when you think of study abroad. These are tuition exchange agreements. So you'd continue to pay tuition to Seton Hall, and then you would just, buy yourself a plane ticket and any sort of expenses for exploration outside of the university you'd want to save for. But really easy for your parents. They just keep paying the same bill. Parents tend to like those options because it's a no-brainer for them. If you don't have time to study abroad for a semester, and if you're in a dual degree program, you may not. Kind of depends on which program you're involved in. We do offer faculty-led retreats to a variety of different countries on breaks and over the summer. And then the last category is everything else. So if we don't offer a program that suits your interest or in a country that you'd want to go to, you just need to get the approval of your dean and your advisor, and you can go ahead and pay tuition directly to that institution instead of Seton Hall for that semester. So we do try to keep it broad, as we know our students want to go all over the world, not just in those places where we have connections already. Part of being a Catholic institution is we really believe in serving the community that's locally, nationally, and globally. And so we do run service trips, locally within the community in a typical year outside of the country as well. So that's something you can get involved with if you would like. We do have a Center for Servant Leadership that has a scholarship as well. So if you're applying as a freshman, you may want to look at that on our website, and I'll make sure to get that link over to your counselors so that you can start exploring those opportunities. I already mentioned WSOU to you, the Setonian, and our theater options. We actually do 7 to 10 plays a year. So definitely a lot of options to perform if that's what you're interested in. Lots of clinical learning labs on main campus. I already mentioned Market Research Center on campus if you're interested in doing market research for a large corporation, and this semester in DC. And then, of course, being right next to New York, we have regular field trips to the city. We have students that go and see Broadway shows for $14 to $40, which is really exciting. We've given away tickets to free sporting events. We've had guest lecturers come in onto our campus, I believe about 20 to 22 a year that come to campus. And yeah, we're definitely taking advantage of that kind of close-knit connection to New York. Here again are just some of the internship opportunities our students have had. We've already talked about this a lot, so I'll kind of just keep going, but if you have questions, we can definitely address them at a later time. Freshman Studies Program. So this is the official name. Actually, I believe they just recently renamed themselves ARC, but Freshman Studies Program is a part of ARC. It's basically a mentorship program by which students are paired with a peer advisor, and so that they can begin to kind of connect with the community and have that first friend on campus. It is also involved in the Freshman Studies Program is a class called University Life. All students take the University Life course their first semester to help them acclimate to the Seton Hall community. It is an easy A, but it's just a really nice way to kind of transition, especially if you're coming from out of state. And of course, your academic advisor is located within the Academic Resource Center, or ARC, and kind of will be working hand in hand with the Freshman Studies Program to help you acclimate, particularly when it comes to selecting your courses. All right, so every Seton Hall student, part of their tuition and fees is getting a free laptop or tablet from us. So that's what this picture is. That is the Lenovo, I think it's called the Yogi, and that is the tablet option. But it makes it easy for us because we put all of kind of the technology that you'll need when studying at Seton Hall right on that device, and you'll be well prepared for your classes. We have over 150 clubs and organizations on campus. Like I mentioned in the beginning, Seton Hall students do love to have fun. And also the typical Seton Hall student tends to get very involved. We do look for kind of leadership on the application. And so we get a kind of a university filled with servant leaders because we also look for service. So, our students are looking to get involved, to kind of plug in and get on committees and kind of play a role in a variety of different organizations, or maybe they just want to connect to build their community, and we try to keep those opportunities broad. We also give our students the option to launch their own organization on campus. So if it does not exist, you would just kind of make your way over to the department that kind of runs these programs and pitch them your idea. And if they give you the okay, you can start your own organization on campus, which is really great. Greek life, in a typical year, about 20 to 30% of our population is involved in Greek life. So it kind of just depends on the year, but there are 26 Greek organizations. We have social organizations, which is what you would typically think of when you think of Greek life. We also have cultural organizations, and we have honor societies as well. So kind of just depends on what you're looking to do and the kind of organization you're looking to be involved with. Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, there's over a dozen student-led theater performances each year, including campus or at SOPAC. That's actually a higher statistic than what I thought, so I've just learned something new right now. SOPAC is the South Orange Theater Company, so it's a kind of main stage theater option for our students. And in terms of what we're doing on campus, in addition to guest lecturers, we have a concert every year. This year, in light of COVID, we actually had Jason Derulo give a private virtual performance specifically for the Seton Hall community, which was really exciting. And the producer of Pirate TV actually got to interview him afterwards, which was really, really exciting for him. We also bring carnivals on campus. We have regular career fairs. We have regular kind of connect fairs for our students to explore other club options on campus. Your first 56 days as a Seton Hall student, we actually throw you an event every single day on the green. This is specific to our freshmen because we want to help them to connect with other students and make friends and kind of have a medium by which they can do that and kind of meet other students maybe from other dorms and really just kind of get off on the right foot socially. So that's something you can look forward to as well. And of course, there's always New York if you want to go grab dinner, go to a museum or see a show or any of the other things we spoke about a moment ago.
Could you elaborate a little bit on Greek life? We often get questions about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I mentioned, there are several different opportunities when it comes to Greek life. So we do have social organizations, and we don't have housing. I know that's a common question.
It
It's
is.
not, yeah, but our students do tend to live with each other, and larger groups than kind of what you would normally live in if you were just renting a house, but they're not officially houses because that's not allowed in South Orange. But they do tend to kind of live together to have that community experience, and maybe they'd have 2 or 3 houses instead of 1 for that particular organization. And then on top of that, we have cultural organizations. So if that's something that's meaningful for you, you can definitely be involved in a cultural organization. There are service organizations, and I mentioned honor societies as well, which are typically co-ed. And an opportunity, we have a pre-med honor society. There's I believe, a Greek organization, an honor society specific to business and finance. So organizations like that as well. Yeah. All right, so we are Division I school, as I mentioned earlier. There are 14 Division I sports. A lot of students find us for our basketball program. They're just really excited about being a part of a Big E school and going to those basketball games. We actually bus our students to the men's basketball games from campus. They play at the Prudential Center, which is where the New Jersey Nets used to play before they became the Brooklyn Nets. And the entire community in the local area does rally around Seton Hall basketball. And so it's just a really nice way to kind of bring everyone together and kind of show our pirate pride. And they actually won the regular season championship last year, which was really exciting. There are over 25 club and intramural sports on campus, and about 50% of our population participates in club and intramural sports. So we are a very active community. The nearest hiking trail is about 7 minutes away. The nearest mountain to kind of ski or snowboard is about an hour, and the beach is about an hour. So definitely ways to kind of be active on and off campus. Yeah. That's all I have to say about that. Residence life, about 80% of freshmen live on campus. It is not required. So if you don't want to live on campus, you don't have to, but definitely it's encouraged. And most of our freshmen do take advantage of living on campus. And 50% of the upperclassmen population live on campus. And the way that works is there's a lottery system. It's not random. It's kind of based on so it's not a lottery system, I'm sorry. It's based on your GPA and your attendance at activities on campus. And so the higher the GPA, the more attendance you've had at the variety of activities we have on campus, you'll be higher up on that list to select your room. And kind of a nice perk is that you get to select your entire suite. And most dorms on campus are suite style, so you can pull in 3 of your friends. And so typically if students want to live on campus, they or their friends will be selected, and they have no issues staying on campus all 4 years if they'd like. There's also plenty of houses and apartment style opportunities in the local community. We are in the suburbs, so lots of opportunities to kind of rent a house if you prefer to be in that setup. We do have 6 residence halls and 2 apartment buildings, doubles, triples, or 4-person suites. Right now with COVID, there aren't any triples, it's only doubles. That's kind of what we did to modify to this current circumstances. All of our buildings are air conditioned, which is a nice perk, especially your freshman year. That is not always the case. Every dorm does have resident assistants, and we actually do in-dorm tutoring. So nobody has an excuse not to get the support that they need. We bring it right to your door if you need it. Well, rather you'll do it in the community areas, but definitely a really nice option for students to have that. And then we also offer, of course, tutoring in the library and in other areas on campus as well. Services at Seton Hall. So in addition to mentorship and academic resources, we do offer counseling and psychological services, support groups. We have disability support services. If you have a learning difference and you kind of need that support, you would kind of communicate with them prior to the start of school. And they have some paperwork you can fill out to get the appropriate accommodations in your classes. We also have the Academic Resource Center, which I mentioned. We have a Health and Wellness Center, and of course, tutors in residence, which I just mentioned a moment ago. Here's our cost. tuition and fees, room and board. The total sticker price is about $60,000 to $63,000 a year. I believe this year we did go up to $62,900. So that was the tuition increase. And something you guys should know is that tuition kind of nationally can increase by a certain percentage every year. So it's definitely something you want to plan for. But we do give away $100 million in grants and scholarships each year. So we are very generous. 98% of our students do receive scholarship from us. And after you take away the kind of scholarships and aid we award our students, typically our cost is similar to that of a public institution. And that's a link if you want to kind of do the calculation after you get your award letter. The majority of our scholarships are automatically awarded upon admission. Our merit scholarships are pretty generous. And then if you sent in your FAFSA, then of course we will use your parents' EFC to kind of award you need-based aid as well. We also have a list of special scholarships. So, if students ask us typically, are there other scholarship opportunities I can apply to? I always tell my students, if I get to them early enough, please apply by early action. It's non-binding, and there are other deadlines that come earlier than even our regular Decision 1 deadline specific to, getting you additional, aid and scholarships. So please apply early. And this link right here will take you to the page that lists those extra opportunities. FAFSA due November 1st, but of course we will continue taking it if you apply for one of those later deadlines, so no worries there. And with your FAFSA, we can consider you for need-based aid. Without it, we can't. It would only be merit-based aid. This is a common question for students that are international. You would just be eligible for those merit-based scholarships. I think that's all I have to say about that. Typically, our aid packages are mailed in early February. That's if you've sent your FAFSA in. If you don't send in a FAFSA, then we don't mail you a package. You will just get your scholarship letter, but certainly I can kind of help you break down what your final cost would be over the phone or over a virtual meeting. Here's all of our deadlines. So as I mentioned, we do have early action deadlines. High recommendation to apply early action. It's not just for extra scholarship money, but we also have special programs that have application deadlines in mid-February that you don't want to miss out on. So if you have the ability to kind of apply early, again, early action means non-binding. It's different than early decision, which is binding. We don't offer that at Seton Hall. So just if you, again, have the flexibility, if you're confident about where your grades are, please apply early action if you can. It will help you if you're interested in Seton Hall. In addition, to kind of that Common App or Seton Hall application, there is a $55 application fee. I'm going to give you a fee waiver code to write down. That fee waiver code is XFW. So I know if you're watching this now, if you watch this later, feel free to use that. It will waive your application fee. We do require an essay. We require transcripts and a council report, and then a teacher recommendation letter. This year, for the first time ever, we actually went test optional given the circumstances. The only programs that could not do that were JoinMD and College of Education based on the New Jersey guidelines. So another option for College of Education applicants is they could submit the praxis instead. So if you have questions about that, feel free to reach out to me. I'll give you my information in a moment here. We do a holistic review, so you're not just a number to us. You're not just grades and test scores and academic rigor. We do look at everything. And those are some of our averages there on the bottom. All right, if you guys want more information about Seton Hall, you would just go to shu.edu/visiting. Our next open house event for juniors is April 18th. You'll see that kind of, if you scroll down on the page, you can sign up for that open house. It'll give you the opportunity to connect with faculty, which is really great, and also current students. Those open house events get pretty granular, so you don't have to sit through everything if you don't want to. You can go to a session that's just specific to your college or your major of interest. And there are also sessions on financial aid, the application process, honors and leadership program, and things like that. So you can sign up for as many sessions as you would like within that kind of 4-hour time block. This is my information. On the right there, that's my email address. If you guys want to get out your phone and kind of scan that QR code, you can check into today's visit. Something that I guess is good for everyone to know kind of, in applying to college in general, a lot of schools track demonstrated interest. It is kind of an unofficial part of the application process. And so for you attending today's session and kind of checking in to the visit today, not only will you be able to stay in touch with me and get more information about Seton Hall, but it's also kind of a way to demonstrate interest with the university early on. And that's it. That's our main admissions page there if you want kind of to see our application requirements again or get more information about applying to Seton Hall.
Would you mind going back to the admission slide that had the average GPA, et cetera? I just wanted to make a quick note of it, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. There we go.
I did take a screenshot of that last one. Awesome, thank you. Do you know yet or have a sense of what it'll look like for students, the 2022 incoming students, whether or not you guys will stay test optional for those applicants?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. So that is the hope right now, but it does need to still get approved. So we'll have an answer for you probably in mid-April, but that's the direction they're leaning towards. But again, that does need to all get approved. So it hasn't officially been yet, but as soon as I hear about that, I would be happy to share that information with you.
Thanks.
Sure. William, did you have any questions for me?
I think it was very informative. So it kind of wondering a little bit about South Orange and just kind of how students, what students do in the surrounding area, realizing that it's very close to New York City. Like you said, it's about a half hour away. So it is very close to just about anything you could want to do. But how is the surrounding town for students? Does it feel like a college town, or is it residential?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. It's a really good question and very important to talk about. So it does feel like a college town. It is small town, suburban, so small college town, but you will see kind of those pirates stickers in the windows. We do have alumni that have started their own businesses down there, and we even have pirate bucks, so students can walk off our campus and use some of their university dollars to go out to eat and to support the local businesses in the community. So that is a walk from our gate. If you want a bagel, highly recommend bagels and pizza in the state of New Jersey. It'll be better than anything you've ever had, I promise. There's definitely local kind of shops for you to grab a bite, and some other things that you can do down there. And then within a kind of a short drive from campus or Uber ride from campus, there is Maplewood and Montclair. And so, you'll find more activities there, small shops. I believe there's, small kind of workout facilities. So if you're interested in kind of group fitness and you don't find what you want at our gym, we do offer free classes that our students like to take advantage of. But if you're interested in that, if you're interested in CrossFit or kind of doing something along those lines, you'll probably find that in Montclair, which is about 15 minutes from campus.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, a question that that we ask a lot, that you touched on in a lot of ways, but kind of curious if there's anything that you would add, is sort of just like what would be some of the characteristics of a student who just really thrives, really fits in well at Seton Hall?
Yeah, thanks for asking that. So I would say if you're a student that really likes to get involved, there are endless opportunities for you to kind of explore a variety of interests during your time with us. And so our students that like to get plugged in, that like to kind of participate in some of the many opportunities that we have outside of the classroom, tends to just absolutely love their experience at Seton Hall, because we don't really put a cap on what you can do during your time with us. So if you're someone that has interest in a lot of different areas, that applies outside of the classroom and also, in your kind of academic journey. So if you're someone that wants to major in a couple of different things, there are so many resources available for you to be able to kind of maintain your grades. But you need to be a self-starter. You need to be the one that's saying, hey, I need to go get tutoring today. We will have your mentor, available for you, and your advisor available for you to kind of check in. But, at the end of the day, you're going to want to go and kind of take advantage of all the resources that are available for you. So it might just be a kind of a walk down the hall to the common area of your dorm, but of course it will take you kind of taking that initiative. So, but yeah, with all of the resources that are available, our students are able to, like I mentioned, double major, triple major, pick up a minor, pick up 2 minors, study abroad while pursuing a 5-year master's. They find ways to do all the things that they want to do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Quick question about, I'm sorry if you mentioned this or addressed it, but the Leadership Institute, is it a difficult process to apply or to be accepted to it? And do students start freshman year? Could you potentially start later, or is it something that you have to start year one?
Yeah, so so everyone's application will be sent over to the Leadership Institute for the initial evaluation. After that, students that are selected will receive an invitation via email, and also there will be a link in their portal. So if you're a senior, you're watching this, you've been accepted, check out your portal. And if you need help kind of logging into your portal, you can always email me, happy to help you. But yeah, you would see a link on the homepage of your portal to apply. You would fill out a secondary application that is specific to the details of your leadership experience. So that might look like, I was president, vice president of a club, I was the secretary of my club, I was just a club member, I served within my community or my church, things like that. And so you check those boxes. I believe there's 5 short answer questions you'll answer. You'll send that application in. You'll go into a secondary review process. Select students will be invited to interview. And I think on the occasion there might be a secondary interview, but usually you get selected after that third step, so that interview process. And then in terms of can students be invited after freshman year, so the way that works, occasionally you will have 1 or 2 students that are able to join their sophomore year, but that's only if a freshman has dropped out of the program. So if a spot opens up, then they do open up the application for first semester sophomores. And those students will go through 2 years of the curriculum at once. So they'll do the freshman year curriculum to catch themselves up while pursuing the projects for sophomore year. So it is a little bit more work than starting your freshman year, but one of our wonderful ambassadors actually was able to kind of start their sophomore year and absolutely loves the program. So definitely something doable if that's something that you'd like to do.
Awesome. And I just have one more question. I'm sure Josephine has some questions, but what is the weather like? What is the climate like during during school months, especially?
Yeah, so great question. So in New Jersey, we do have all 4 seasons. So in the fall, you're going to get that beautiful fall foliage, and the weather might start out in August and September in the 70s and then slowly start dropping from there. The winter months can be starting in as early as December, can be anywhere from like 30 to 50 degrees. And then once we hit January, February, March, you're going to be in the teens to the 30s. So definitely cold, not as cold as kind of the northern Midwest, but definitely chilly. You're going to need to buy a winter coat. I used to live there. The lowest temperature I remember was kind of 0 with a wind chill factor, making it feel a little bit lower than that. But I would say the average winter day is probably in the teens. And upwards of it being in the 30s. And then in the spring, the weather will start going up again and kind of reverse of the fall. So it might start out kind of in the 50s, work its way up to the 70s. And then the summers are like 80, 90 degrees with humidity, which will be a new thing for our California students to the degree that it is kind of on the East Coast. Feels a little more sticky sometimes. But yeah, our students tend to really like all 4 seasons, and that is a reason students end up joining us. They want to see that first snowfall. They want to see the leaves change colors in the fall and kind of the flowers bloom in the spring, and just kind of see those like more stark transitions from season to season. So
do you have a lot of snow and sunshine, or is it more dreary? Like, what is the vibe?
Yeah, not dreary like Oregon, Washington dreary. It's not really like that. It's, from what I can remember from living there, it was kind of like you would have a rainy day, and then the next day you might have, the sun might be shining and the rain's now cleared up. It's not like we remain in gloom for weeks at a time. The winter months, the snow doesn't come constantly. We just had a snowstorm, but it was the first snowstorm that we've had all season. So that was actually kind of unusual, but I would say kind of the weather comes and goes, and there's not kind of a gloomy cast over the skies in any season. It can change from day to day, week to week. So.
William, should I jump in or am I cutting you off if I do that? Okay. I have two questions. Since we talked, I know we need to wrap it up, and thank you also for your time that you're taking a little extra time. Just two quick questions. You were talking a lot about the Leadership Institute and all these ways to get involved. And I wanted to know if you guys have an honors college, and if so, what that looks like.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have an honors program, and the honors program is going to look different than what you think about at the high school level. So our honors program is not just extra, challenging courses that are maybe a step up of our regular track courses, although they're built in a different way. So there's 4 colloquia within your first 2 years at the university. So that'll cover 4 semesters. You'll be studying, if you're a student that likes to study how a variety of different subjects relate to one another over the course of time, if you're a student that enjoys conversational learning, that loves to read, this might be a course that's a good fit for you. And so you'll be studying philosophy and religion and art and history, and potentially politics of that specific era, the culture of specific areas and time periods. That is kind of the makeup of the honors program, and a lot of reading and writing. Your last 2 years, the third year, you'll be kind of going to a variety of different seminars and also meeting with your counselor to prepare for your senior thesis, and your senior year, you will be working on your senior thesis paper. If you have a senior thesis that you need to work on to graduate, then they will also accept that. You don't have to write a new thesis paper for the program. So that's it in a nutshell. You will have one, I guess the other perk of the program is that the classes are 3 hours long twice a week. So it's the same amount of credits as, taking, the credit hours are 6. So you're knocking out 2 classes at once. That's what I'm trying to say. So 2 classes at once, but one focus area. So one set of assignments, for that class. So some students really like that. They like this kind of immersed learning experience, and it's kind of your way to get multiple things done at once.
Awesome, thank you. My other question was, you've mentioned a few times along the way that it is a Catholic university, that you guys focus on educating the whole person. You focus on compassion, integrity, helping the community, helping others, being a community. So I wanted to know, outside of those aspects, which have been really clear in the presentation, I think, what does it feel like to go to a Catholic university, especially if you're not Catholic, and how does it affect your day-to-day and or your academics? We get those questions a lot from students.
Yeah, thanks for asking. So definitely you can feel kind of the morality of Catholicism and kind of the pillars of the Catholic faith and the makeup of the university, in the sense that we're a very warm and welcoming community. We're a very service-forward community. Our faculty is there to lead by example and also to serve you, in the sense that they kind of have an open door policy. After classes, they try to make themselves available for office hours in a that you'll maybe notice is a little bit more than what you might find at other institutions. I can tell you kind of on my end, the people that I work under go above and beyond to kind of demonstrate servant leadership, even on the administrative side. So you're going to really see that from the top down, and in that regard. In terms of kind of requirements related to religion, we do have a university core that involves 3 classes in which scripture may be involved. We also study scriptures of other religions as well. Students will study a couple of other texts again, from other religions, and they'll also study philosophy in those classes. So if you're someone that's okay having conversation about religion, then typically the 30% of our population that's not Catholic that attends Seton Hall tends to really thrive and enjoy those kind of interreligious conversation courses and kind of the self-discovery courses where we kind of guide our students into figuring out what it is that they believe. We're not proselytizing to our students, but definitely you'll kind of see biblical scripture brought into those conversations. One class is called Christianity and Culture and Dialogue, which is an interfaith dialogue course. So you might have Judaism and Christianity in dialogue, or Islam and Christianity in dialogue, those kinds of options. We also have a topical conversation course, so faith and fashion or faith and politics, and engaging the world is the third option. So definitely unavoidable. If you are uncomfortable with religious conversation in general, we might not be a good fit, but if that's okay for you, typically our students really find these courses rather interesting. And there is no chapel requirement. I should mention that as well. The chapel's there, and we do have students that love attending services at the chapel. There's a 2-year waiting list to get married at the chapel. So definitely a beautiful place for reflection and kind of to engage your faith if that's something you're looking for. And there's Bible studies on campus and things like that if that's something that you want to take advantage of as well. And I think I may need to log off here. I've got another meeting in 15.
Perfect. Thank you so much for taking the extra time to answer all of our questions. This is super, super helpful. I'm excited for the students who are currently in class, in school. They'll get to watch the recording since, like I said, we do have several students who haven't been able to visit Seton Hall yet, but did get in. So we'll share all this information, and I'm sure they'll be reaching out to you as well.
Yes, I would love to chat with them. And if you're watching this later and you want more information about Seton Hall, please feel free to email me. Happy to kind of work with you wherever you're at kind of in your college journey. That's what I'm here for. So don't be shy.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Good to meet you both.
Bye.
Take care.